Back with more Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is episode 16 of season 2. Very excited to carry on, see what's going to happen next. Last episode, easily my favourite of the show, I would say. What a beautiful, beautiful episode. Nice to know that it is like very, very well regarded in the fandom as well. Yeah, I've been listening to, is it Leaves from the Vine? I think I've been listening to that far, far too many times, really. Not good for my mental health, but man, what a beautiful episode that was. And I feel bad for this episode having to follow it, quite frankly, but I'm sure it'll also be very, very good because it's Avatar. So yeah, I don't exactly know where the focus will go next because they kind of focused on everyone, maybe not everything in the last episode. I'm hoping we do continue the whole Appa thing because we ended off with Momo finding an Appa footprint. So we know Appa's around somewhere. So maybe they'll continue on that journey. Maybe we'll focus on something else. I'm not quite sure if like they're going to spend the rest of this season in Ba Sing Se or if it's just another couple of episodes. I don't really know. But it makes me sad that we still haven't found Appa. So I'm hoping we focus on that story a bit and we'll see what on earth actually goes down. But yes, very excited as always. So let's get into the next one. Oh! Okay. Are we going to get like an Appa, here's what happened to him episode? Poor buddy. Aww.
Ransack his saddle. Who knows what treasures are stashed in there?
You shits. Aww, he did hear.
You're gonna take a nice little snoozle.
Oh dear.
We can sell him for parts.
Parts? Fuck you. This genuinely makes me quite teary just seeing them like this. Oh. Oh, is it like a circus thing?
It's obvious that whoever your previous owner was, he had no idea how to handle you properly.
No, he loved him, you absolute bitch. Aww.
Let's go.
See you later, buddy.
Oh.
Run away! Get away from him!
Oh, buddy. I hope he died. Don't make me cry.
You can do it.
Yeet. Hooray! Oh, I don't think that's a good idea. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Fuck. Fuck off.
We'll always be together.
This is rude. This is rude.
Always.
They're dreaming the same thing. Oh, now he's scared of fire.
Uncle,
Oh.
what are you looking at? Is there something out there? Ma, it's nothing. Go back to sleep.
Guess they don't know that Aang lost them, do they? Iroh doesn't want Zuko caught up in all that again. Hello. Oh, look at him. This is awful. Oh.
Appa? Oh no.
Oh.
If we can help you find Aang.
Oh. No, that's better. Oh! Oh, bloody hell.
Any friend of the Avatar is an enemy of mine.
Well, that's not a very good attitude, is it?
You're not prettier than we are.
Alright. Still wants to help.
You have to find Aang. We'll be okay.
Oh god, we're not going to see what happens. Look at them. Oh, that's sad, like they're all gone now except for him. Oh, reliving his little childhood.
Hello, I am Guru Patik. You've been through so much recently. Hurt and betrayed. So twisted up inside. You're still full of love.
Aww.
Fear has moved in. I had a vision many years ago of helping him. That's why I came to the Eastern
Okay. Oh, I like that he's learning to trust people again.
I have prepared a message for Aang. You have an unbreakable bond. By reading your energy, I can sense where Aang is.
Oh. Uh-oh. Aha. For goodness sake. That man's got to go. Okay, another fantastic episode. I've really enjoyed it. It was cool to kind of get all those gaps filled in about Appa and what he's been doing, I guess, during these awful 4 weeks for the poor thing. And yeah, just kind of exploring, I guess, animal abuse and that very dark side of the circus I thought was interesting, and thank God that is, a practice that's very, very frowned upon these days, using animals in circuses like that. I don't know if it's like fully banned everywhere. I'm not like too knowledgeable on that subject, but I know I think it is mostly they've finally gotten rid of that, which is excellent. Especially when you see things like this, and man, I don't know exactly when this aired. It must have been 2006-7ish time, I think. I don't know how it was then in terms of how much of it was banned and frowned upon, etc. So that kind of context would also be interesting to find out. But yeah, kind of really exploring that side of thing again on like a show aimed at kids. They really don't shy away from tackling subjects like that, and I really do like the show for doing that. And yeah, I really don't know if I could watch this episode again though. I found this quite hard to stomach, as I do in most situations where you see like an animal in pain or anything like that and suffering. That like super vet and stuff. I just can't put myself through that. Whenever I've watched it, it's always been so sad, and they've killed them all. I watched one episode of Super Vet, and the bloody owner died. Like, they were treating the animal, and then at the end of the episode, like, oh, the owner's passed away since. It's like, bloody hell, even the humans aren't safe when I watch these shows. So, yeah, that was a big tangent. But, yeah, I found this quite difficult to watch. I think that is the point, because obviously they really wanted to hit home how awful it is for not just Aang to be separated from Appa, but for Appa to be separated from Aang as well. They have that kind of strong bond and connection. I love them showing the kind of sequence where they first kind of met, and Aang like had to choose his bison. Talk about their forever and always bond. Like, oh, that was very emotional actually seeing that. Just seeing that tiny little Appa and all his siblings, I guess. And you just think like they're all gone now. But I am glad because, we focused a lot on how Aang's feeling about being separated from Appa and how the other characters are dealing with it. So I'm glad that they did take the time to talk about, well, not all sunshine and rainbows for Appa as well. He's really suffering too. And to see like the twists and turns in that story and like how close or far away they were from each other at any one time. And I would have just assumed that whoever they sold Appa to just still had him all that time, but he managed to escape and bump into all these other people before he then returned to Ba Sing Se, and it seems he's been captured again, which is quite unfortunate. But we saw how he ended up getting that paw print there that Momo found, so I feel like we are building towards them reuniting. We are going to track him down properly. So yeah, I loved getting all those gaps filled in, and got quite emotional actually seeing Appa go through all that, and particularly with the flashbacks of when we saw Aang, young Aang kind of meeting Appa, and Appa remembering Aang's laugh, and that little boy was laughing at the circus. Just little things just to show how deep that bond goes between the two of them, that they are intrinsically linked, and they're kind of all each other have of that, their previous life together before they got frozen, and they're both kind of the last of their people in many ways, so that's going to connect them and bond them. And I really like that they're exploring that, because more often than not, it's all about how Aang is the last airbender, literally in the show's title, but you kind of forget how lonely Appa must feel at times as well. So to actually have an episode all about that, and to have this whole arc with him being taken, I like that they can put that in the spotlight, and to have an episode like this where the main character of the episode can't speak. So I do think a lot of it's down to some excellent voice work from whoever provides like the noises and voices for Appa in that sense. But the fact that you can still get such a strong emotional reaction from Appa, even though he can't say a word, I think is really impressive. And some of that will also come from the other characters that we do see in this episode. But yeah, I think it could have been very easy to just find Appa and hooray, and we don't really see what went down with him. But they've actually chosen to really, do the difficult thing of making like some vocal work and the animation really get the emotion through, as opposed to a character who can speak all this dialogue that we can understand and digest in that sense. So yeah, that was really interesting how they did that, and very emotional. It really got to me on a few occasions. I think it's a combination of it's been a weird few weeks. I've just been a bit the past few weeks. We all have those kind of time periods. But just seeing them separated and seeing Appa on his own just makes me think of since I've moved here in May, and my cat went to live with my dad because he moved away. Because they have another cat there that needs to take, and I can't have pets here anyway. So that's like 9 years we were, basically side by side, and then suddenly it's just me on my own here. It just made me think of that. I think that also got me quite emotional because I miss my cat. But yeah, there was a combination of all those things really that really got an emotional reaction from me. I was like holding back tears for a lot of this episode. But I think that also speaks to the strength of how this episode's put together and what they focus on and the voice work, etc. Because you really feel for Appa, because he's gone through all this shit with like the circus and stuff, and just missing his friend is enough, I think, and the bond that they share. I love that they have such a powerful, strong bond that guy Patik, I didn't quite get his name. It's something like that. He can like trace Aang through that, so that's how Appa knew to like return to Ba Sing Se and everything. That was really cool. And the idea that guy had a vision like ages ago that he's going to help Aang and Appa out. So I don't know if that's going to be like a mentor figure for him. He's going to learn something new from him, exactly what he's going to bring. But I'm guessing when Aang finds Appa, they're all going to head to that guy again, I would assume, because he's got a note with him now. So that's kind of setting up, I think, where the story will go next once there's been this big happy reunion, hopefully. So I'm excited to see that guy again and then a bit more about him. But the fact that everything in Appa in the circus, and that gave him like this fear of fire, not ideal when we're going against like the Fire Lord and everything. And he had this huge distrust of humans for the most part. The exceptions being that little boy, and then Pachik, and eventually Suki as well, kind of running around. The fact that kind of all happened to him is just so sad in itself. And and it adds some emotional depth to this flying bison character who can't speak. You know, it's cool that they take the time to do that. So they could very well not give that kind of focus to like the animals. Like they can just, oh, if they're in the show, we can sell plushies out of them and stuff like that. I feel like that's something, you know, if this was made today, I feel like there wouldn't be anywhere near as much character maybe to Appa and Momo as there are in this, because they actually do take the time to give Appa an episode like this. Momo had his section in the last episode to get a sense of who they are, even though they can't speak. And nowadays you just think, oh, weird Porg thing from Star Wars, let's put them in so we can sell plushies and merchandise of them all over the place. I think that would be the case nowadays, and there's not really any character to those things except to just sell merch. And while they do obviously sell merch of Appa and Momo, and I desperately want to buy it, but money, there is like some character and depth to them as well. So I really do enjoy that they take the time to explore that, and particularly in episodes like this. Now Appa's kind of gone through this arc, is he going to be able to kind of relearn to not be afraid of fire anymore? You know, it's kind of negative reinforcement that the circus guy was like using on him and making him afraid and torturing him if he didn't like dance monkey dance or whatever. And then that caused him a bit of distrust in humans, and the fact that, you know, he got quite hurt in that as well. And as soon as he escapes the humans, he then meets an animal that gets into a fight in, and that gets him even more hurt, and he has to hide away. So thank God that Suki found him, really. And I like that they brought her into it, and the fact that just after she met those guys and left them, she then finds Appa, and she knew that he was missing because she'd bumped into those guys already. And just taking the time and the patience to earn his trust and get him to recognise her, I guess, because it's not like they're super aware of each other. They haven't spent all that much time together. So I really enjoyed that, and catching up with her. And then Azula and her friends turning up. I've got a few glimpses into them, I think. What's her name? It's not Azula, not May. It's the other one. I'm looking through my notes. I must have written it down at some point during Cyber. Ty Lee. I think it's Ty Lee. You know, they were like doing all these quips when they were fighting or whatever, and she was like, "You're not prettier than us," or something like that, I think. So maybe there's kind of some insecurity there with Ty Lee and like her appearance and stuff, and that, she feels like that maybe is what defines her, what she's good at. It's interesting because I think she kind of came from like a circusy background, didn't she? When we first met her, didn't she like leave the circus to join Azula, something like that? So that's kind of an interesting thing as well. So just little lines like that, just like one-off line, kind of tells us maybe a bit about a character like Ty Lee. So I like how they can tie that into it. We've got some fun action there. Suki, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of, you know, the fact that she had to use fire to like scare Appa away, because Appa was so willing to still help, and I think that showed when Patik, I'm so bad at names. He was like sensing Appa's emotions, and he was like, you know, you've been through a lot and a lot of pain and stuff, you've been betrayed and hurt, but there's still a lot of love in you. I think that kind of was showcased there when he was still like trying to actually help Suki out. He's going to turn around and come back. So she kind of had to use fire to like force his hand and force him to flee, because that's what she wanted for him. She's kind of putting herself in, you know, in the face of the fire, I guess. So the methods are a bit like, oh, did you really have to scare him away like that? But otherwise he probably would have stayed and maybe got himself hurt and stuff, and she just desperately wanted to get him back to Aang. So it's nice in a way that she could do that, and she was willing to just put herself in danger so that he could get away. And she seemed quite happy when he did. And then they kind of left us on a bit of a cliffhanger with that. So hopefully Suki's alright, because I really like her, and I hope she's not burnt to a crisp by Azula and her friends, as are, you know, all the other warriors that she's with. So I like how they tied some characters into it like that. You know, we got a glimpse of like the deal when they first sold Appa away, and just that jerky guy who sold him. Your problem now, yeah. He got his just desserts. And I also really like the little bit with Iroh and Zuko when Iroh spotted him flying over them, and it's like, Zuko, it's nothing. It's not important, Zuko, nothing. So I guess he doesn't want Zuko to get too wrapped up in, oh, let's chase the Avatar. You know, all of that kind of thing that has dominated Zuko's character for such a long time. You know, he doesn't need to expose him to that anymore, because he's doing some good character growth and character work without having to worry about the Avatar stuff and the Azula stuff and everything that's probably haunting him a lot. So I liked that. He didn't want to disturb Zuko's sleep as well. Zuko doesn't seem like the type of guy who would get all that much sleep all the time. So I like that he kind of tried to protect his nephew in that sense. And I guess getting caught up in that would probably bring up a lot anyway. 'Cause was the last time Zuko and Iroh met Aang and everyone, was that when Iroh got hurt and then he was like, screw you guys, we're leaving? So that's probably going to bring up some bad memories anyway, if you kind of like, oh look, it's the Avatar's thing. Because then Zuko would be like, oh, let's burn them down. So I liked that little snippet as well, just a bit more like nice character moments for those two. But it was cool that the big focus was on the character who can't speak, and they still did such a great job of getting that character across and seeing the hurt and betrayal that he's feeling, but there's still a lot of love in him, as we saw with, you know, the petite guy, and of his own accord, you know, Appa was just having these little flashbacks to Aang, some things that reminded him of Aang, and the dreams of like when they first met, and how the relationship kind of started out. And Aang, I think, was having like the same dream at the same time. It's like that's their connection, their bond. I just love that they explored that. I thought it was really lovely. And yeah, just like the darker themes, like circus, animal misuse, mistreatment, stuff like that. There's some really cool stuff with it. And it's just a shame that he ended up captured all over again. But I think that is going to lead us right into him finally being found. Because it's been a while now, isn't it? It was like episode 10 or 11, I think he got taken. So it's been like a good like quarter of the season, I feel like, where Appa has been missing. So to actually properly get an episode and see what he's gone through and stuff is really fun. Well, not fun, bloody awful, but you know. But yeah, fantastic episode yet again. Really enjoyed it. Very emotional at times. They explored some darker stuff, which I really enjoyed that a kids show does go there with that. And yeah, just the little glimpses of the other characters, like secondary characters, how they're tied into all of this as well as we fill in the gaps is really, really cool. And the focus on Appa and Aang's bond, that kind of connection that they have, and Patik, that guy, that also helped Appa on his journey, I guess, to trusting people again. And he could be important in the future as well if he's going to help Aang out in some way. So yes, lots of cool setup and filling in the gaps at the same time. Very excited to see what we're going to do next, but what a fantastic episode. Look forward to seeing more. We have 4 episodes left this season, I think. Can't quite remember. But yeah, we're definitely building up to, I think, the big reunion now, and I'm very, very excited for it. But yeah, I don't know if this is an episode I'd rush to watch again, not because it wasn't good, but because it was just really, really tough to watch. Maybe find a better frame of mind. I think I could probably maybe deal with it and not burst into tears. But yeah, still fantastic nonetheless, as is often the case. So yes, very excited to see where they take this in the next episode. But that's going to be everything for now. And until my next reaction, thanks for watching.